Meanwhile, the Congress of South African Students in Limpopo has rejected the mass phasing in of all grades from today. Provincial chairperson Scalo Mahladisa says the department has rushed the process to reopen schools. Other stakeholders in the province, including teacher unions, have expressed similar concerns. We speak now to Cosas Limpopo chairperson Scalo Mahladiso. Scalo, a very good morning and thanks for joining us. What are your concerns?
Good morning to you too, but to correct you, I'm the Provincial Secretary of Cosas Limpopo. Of course, as the Congress of South African Students in Limpopo, we know that with the recent announcement of alert level 2 of the COVID-19 lockdown, more learners are expected to return back to schools. But in this regard, we are still of a firm view that the department must, as we demanded before, that they must rearrange the final examination and allow grade 12 learners to only be assessed on the basis of content that shall have been covered. This should be limited to 50% of the syllabus. Like, for instance, a survey conducted by the teacher unions revealed that only 62% of schools countrywide will have not covered the matric syllabus by November when the examination start. So as Cosas, we also reject the return of other grades. We believe that only grade 11 and 6 must come back to school, necessarily because we lack infrastructure in our schools. There are learners today who went to schools, but they are not accommodated. As I'm speaking now, I'm in a school in Zanini called Pusela. Other learners returned home, back to their parents. So we're saying as Cosas, it shouldn't be that when we are faced with this kind of situation, and also when we lack teachers. For an example, on the issue of shortage of teachers, we have got a teacher who's teaching home languages or any language. For an example, English. English consists of 3 pages, 3 papers, paper 1, paper 2, and paper 3. And that particular teacher teaches more than 4 grades. So it means, as per the COVID-19 regulation and protocols, classes are being extended. For an example, in grade 12, we have got 5 classes, which he or she must teach one thing. Grade 11, we have got 5 classes. He or she must. So that thing on its own will not materialize. That is why we are saying the department must not rush to take such decisions. They must only allow grade 11s, grade 12s in secondary, and in primary, they must allow grade 7s and grade 6.
So, Scalo, if schools cannot open now, when do you feel they should open?
As and when time goes on, this thing must just go with the flow. We must not rush to take decisions because we want to save an academic year. We said this before, that only exiting points of pre-tertiary level, which are grade 7s and grade 12s, should come back a few weeks ago. Then now, let us take it slow. Then we welcome we welcome grade 6 and grade 10 and grade 11 in accordance with the current situation, because the situation dictates that not all learners must come back to schools. We can't have a school. We can't have an educational system which is being subjected to something called rotational teaching. And rotational teaching means a learner comes once in a week, comes to school, and the other one, the other grade comes once in a month. So that thing on its own will not materialize. That is why we're saying let us slow down and allow matric, grade 11, grade 7, and grade 6 to come back full time in school. Then as and when time goes on, we will allow other grades, and that way it will be proper to manage the situation.
Yeah, I know you were able to give us the situation in one school in Zanin, but just generally, are you able to give us a provincial picture of how the day started today in terms of schooling?
As I've indicated that we took this decision yesterday. Today, our ground forces are all over across the length and the breadth of the province. Some of them are in Bochum. Some of them are in Modimolle. There is a school in Modimolle called Pagameng, and then the other school next to it called Solomon Matlangu. We just received the report now. We're receiving report of almost every school in the province. Those schools there, matriculants in that particular school, they are more than 160. And then the grade which they've welcomed today, they are more than 200. So they do not have have enough classes to accommodate other grades. That is why we are saying we reject this thing, because it's a crisis which we are faced with in all regions across the length and the breadth of the province.
Yeah. Scalo, I know that your constituency is students, but another issue that has been problematic in the fight against COVID-19 is corruption, and there have been reports that have come out of Limpopo as well. How is COSAS interacting with this conversation?
On the issue of corruption and other things, we are saying we are members of community before we are scholars. Of course, we cannot allow people to misuse state money like that. That is why we have said long time ago that those who have found guilty in such things, they must step aside from holding positions of responsibility in government. All of them must step aside for as long as they were found guilty. But otherwise, our main focus is on the issue of learners who happens to be in pre-tertiary level.
Yeah. All right. So in terms of your demands, have you put them through to the Department of Basic Education? How are they responding to you?
We did. And they do not respond. In fact, they're arrogant. You will remember that the Department of Education in the province of the North is led by one arrogant woman, the political head is the MEC. So they are being arrogant. We have long proposed and marched to them that let us create educational camps, let us rearrange final examination, let us extend the academic calendar so that it can cover and suit the current situation. But in approach, they are being arrogant. That is why we have taken a poster to say, in each and every school which we are visiting, if we find learners who are not grade 7, grade 6, we take them out. If we find learners who are not grade 12 and grade 11s, we take them out. We will only allow grade 10, grade 11s, 12, grade 6, and 7s in primary school.
Cosas Mahladisa is a provincial secretary for COSAS in Limpopo.